I would just take it for fact because I felt like the effects in this movie were done very well. The creatures looked like they'd walked right out of the game.
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy.
What's up, YouTube? Drive-By Movies here, and you're watching
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
Mine is Blaze.
And today we're checking out the surprise box office smash of October, Five Nights at Freddy's.
AKA FNAF.
Bobby, go!
5 Nights at Freddy's is the story of a troubled security guard who begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his first night on the job, he realizes that the night shift won't be so easy to get through. Pretty soon, he will unveil what actually happened at Freddy's. So this is based on the popular video game that's taken the world by storm, mainly small children apparently, but I don't think the fun thing essentially is this originally started as, I'm assuming, a game that probably wasn't even going to get that much like popularity, and it really did take the world by storm. So many people enjoyed watching people play it, not even play it themselves. I've heard so many stories of people's kids who loved watching the videos on YouTube and were too scared to play the games themselves, and then eventually they got old enough, played the games, whatever, and now they're old enough and they checked out the movie in theaters and made, you know, smash box office numbers that are absolutely insane. I don't think anyone saw this coming. I definitely didn't see it coming, solely on the fact that this was going to be airing on Peacock simultaneously. I didn't see this making, you know, really anything at the box office. I honestly thought this would, you know, go on to maybe gross like 30 million, and that honestly would have been a lot, I felt like. But I think the number came out, it's 130 million, which is insane. And that's over just one weekend. It's Blumhouse's most successful movie. Their other movie that was successful is the 2018 Halloween, and then that was 91.8 million. Or not other film that was successful. Sorry, other film that was their most successful before this was, you know, 91.8 million. I think that was the lifespan of Halloween, though, right? Not just the opening weekend.
No, that was opening worldwide.
Okay.
And for anyone who before gets like all fancy pants on us, your 130 million is worldwide also. I think it made 78 or around 80 million in the US its opening weekend here, you know, this past weekend.
That's still more than Killers of the Flower Moon, though.
Right, yeah.
Just joking.
And more than, of course, 2018's Halloween. I think that was like in the 70 million range or so, and this is like, you know, that 8 to 10 million higher. But yeah, I knew this was going to be a smash hit. I didn't see it. I thought it was too much too late. I thought that this movie was going to do fine and do well and warrant a sequel, but I didn't think it was going to be this popular with, like, you know, half sold out theaters, with people making it the absolute worst experience I can ever imagine in a cinema. I am so glad this was also on Peacock, and I don't know if Universal foresaw this or something. I don't think they did, because they've been doing this the last 2 years with their Halloween movies being simultaneously released on Peacock. And I think they did that with Firestarter just because they knew that was a dumpster of a movie, and I think they did the same with this movie because they also thought it was going to be a dumpster. I know that they were saying that critics were going to be allowed to review it till the day it came out, basically, or they weren't going to be. Yeah, they were on an embargo. So that's usually the sign that the movie is not necessarily good. And I wouldn't say this movie is like bad. I just don't like it. It's not for me. And also, but here's my thing: if you're going to make a movie that caters to the fans, you can still make it good. The fans of all fandoms, stop settling. Like, I enjoyed the Super Mario Brothers movie. I understand, though, if you don't like that movie. Like, it's not necessarily a great movie by any means, outside of just me being a fan of Super Mario Brothers and, you know, enjoying the awesome visuals and stuff. that we need, like, you deserve a good movie still, bottom line at the end of the day, and that's what audiences deserve just out of any movie. You know, Five Nights at Freddy's, or FNAF as we say, is something that's a big part of my life, but I don't know anything about. For those of you who don't know, I used to manage a Hot Topic store, and a lot of people don't realize managing a Hot Topic store also means you're a babysitter. I had to deal with high schoolers, middle schoolers, hanging out at my shop at 3 o'clock for an hour, hour and a half until their parents came to pick them up at the mall. And there was nothing to do at my mall, so that's why they just hung out the whole time at the mall. They'd go to the food court and then hang around at Hot Topic for ever, and just I'd have to deal with kids playing Five Nights at Freddy's inside the store and open up all the t-shirts, and just like, yeah, it was a big part of my life, and I hated it, and I'm just not a fan of this movie, and we'll get into it. There's a lot of reasons why I didn't like it. It's not unwatchable. It's not a horrible movie. It's just not for me, and it's just not good. What are your thoughts on it?
So I have a little bit of experience with this property. I would say I played maybe the first game, but I wouldn't say a lot. I could never really get into it. I'm a big gamer, but I played a little bit, and honestly, jump scares, yeah, of course, jump scares are scary, just flat out. I'm not saying this game is scary, but when there's a jump scare, I might jump. This one, maybe not so much, but I just never got into the gameplay loop. It just wasn't for me. It felt like you're just, jumping back and forth from camera to camera. And then if I'm not into the game as much, maybe I'm not into the lore. I've heard great things about the lore of these games. I've heard that the lore is awesome. There's, there's more than just one game. I think there's a handful of games at this point. There's probably 10 or something. But, yeah, I think that maybe it was probably lost on us, the amount of lore that was in this movie, I'm assuming. Whereas if, me and you have grown up with Super Mario Brothers, and not talking on whether that was a great movie or not, but just the fact that there are so many Easter eggs in that movie. Literally every frame feels like it's having a little wink or nod to the audience that knows the games, but it almost feels like we didn't have to do much that much investigation to know those properties, because you've just been living, they've been existing in your world for that amount of time, where this you'd have to actually be a huge fan of this series. I felt at least all that those little Easter eggs and stuff was lost on me. I know that the general consensus of people that enjoy these video games really enjoyed this movie, which I find actually fairly surprising, because I felt like I would have wanted, just from that, you talking about Hot Topic and the amount you see the characters and stuff. I felt almost the movie was lacking when it came to that. It felt like a really almost serious at times, indie family drama, which I feel the majority of fans wouldn't like that style movie. So I was honestly surprised. I'm oh, that's actually kind of good that fans of the game liked this movie, that they weren't, expecting this to be an Avengers kind of team up movie of all the Five Nights at Freddy's characters. You get them throughout the movie, and the effects in this movie are absolutely awesome. I couldn't tell you if they were so good to where I'm I don't even know if it's CGI or animatronics or puppetry. It was one of those times where if they told me at the end of the movie, everything was CGI or it was a mixture, I would be okay, I would just take it for fact, because I felt the effects in this movie were done very well. The creatures looked like they'd walked right out of the game or from any of the promotional material I've seen that's not just for the movie. I thought that was absolutely excellent.
Yeah, the sound effects on them, the way they move and everything, it was really well done. And to answer your question, I know most of it is costumes and animatronics, because I saw they have the suits on display at Universal Studio Horror Nights right now, and so it was really cool to see those in person. But yeah, overall, and I'm sure there is still some special effects, with the eye movements and stuff, and some of the movements to make it flow a little bit better to enhance the movie, but blends very well. And definitely hands down, give my applause to that as well too, just because that was really cool to see and was effective at times. But yeah, I mean, I did appreciate that they were trying to give you something to kind of relate to and kind of care for these characters. But there's no rules kind of established within this movie as well as this universe, I guess you could say. Just because the whole time I was why is this happening? Why is he dreaming? Why is this and nothing's really like kind of like I hate exposition, but like it takes a while to get to the exposition dump within this movie, and still there's a lot of stuff where it's just like, why was he dreaming this and stuff still all to begin with anyways. And also you this is my problem with the Harry Potter movies. I love Harry Potter. I have a Harry Potter tattoo. I love the books. The movies I still enjoy bringing, them to life, but they kind of suck narratively. And if you're not a fan of the books, like I can see why anyone wouldn't like Harry Potter, because they're kind of hard to follow unless you're like paying attention. I was lucky and had the book like info within me, but like there's a scene within this movie where just like Steve Raglan was the murderer of these kids. And I was just like, who the F is Steve Raglan? Like that's for everyone to be like, oh, like I remember like the cop says that or something. She says a name within the middle of the movie when she's giving her exposition dump. I'm just like, who the hell is that? Like, am I supposed to know who that is? I don't know. I don't play these games. And that's not how you make a movie and write a script. Just like, this is what I am talking about. Just like every fan deserves a good movie and to be adapted and stuff out of their whatever they're a fan of. And just like, this movie just isn't well written as a movie. It's just written as just like, I don't know, just it just feels like you go for it.
It's extra material to the source. The source material being the video game. This is just supplementary. Like you almost need to play the video game, or maybe even just pop onto the Wikipedia of the video game and figure out what happened in the story, so that you can kind of get the context for some of the characters that they're just gonna, offhand mention, or the rules of the like universe essentially, or the rules of the film or video game series. So yeah, like a lot of that kind of fell flat for me. Obviously, like I just didn't have enough information going into this movie about it. Like I played a little bit of the game, but I could, like, from the amount I played, there almost was no story. So which I think a lot of the lore and story in these games is like, I think the games probably cherry pick the amount of information that you get. You have to maybe beat it to get like more information. I think the amount of games there are just builds up a very cohesive lore that I've heard great things about. But when it comes to like, the movie, it feels like they almost just they just dumped a lot of exposition here and there at you. I felt like the cop character almost feels like an exposition dump character. Like her whole, persona is just to like fill you in on what happened in maybe the lore of the Fosbear's Pizza almost. It just feels like that character's sole existence was not even really a character, but just like an exposition dump.
Her character was the most frustrating part of the movie. She has no reason absolutely to be helping her dad, but then also be like, I gave you clues to Josh Hutcherson. Like, why are you giving him clues? Just flat out tell him if you're gonna tell him. And just like, I don't understand her motives behind just like, is she a cop technically? And why didn't the cops look at this place? Because she says like, they never would have thought to look here. I'm like, all these kids like got murdered at this place apparently. Why wouldn't that be the first place that they're looking into? Like, I mean, there might have been stuff I missed because I was watching this on Peacock and I kept like, just like, oh my God, I had to pause this multiple times and just be like, I need a snack break or I need a piss break and stuff, just because this movie was that it wasn't like I said, it's not terrible. It's just hard to get through just because it's a frustrating, not real movie almost. Like it is a movie. It's a well-made, like looking or nice.
It's not well executed.
Movie. It's just not well executed. They had plenty of time to get this done. This movie's been in development hell for years, and kudos for finding another property to have a hit smash it with. But just like, I'm bummed that like I was so hyped on the Blumhouse train like literally 5 years ago with like Get Out, Invisible Man, and just like them like saying that they were gonna focus like the first Halloween movie of that trilogy that came out, and just I don't know, the glory days are over for Blumhouse now. Just like even like Happy Death Day like takes me back to those days. Geez, like I like that movie, but just like it's brutal out here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't comment as much on Blumhouse. It does feel like this film being a success almost is like will be a surprise to them. I think that they will fully capitalize on it, though. I have to say, I hope that the future films in this series, I don't know if I'll be checking them out, but I just hope that they put the care and attention that they kind of failed to do in this film to giving the fans what they deserve beyond some just a film that doesn't feel like it's executed well on any level beyond just being, you know, something that has a bunch of great Easter eggs. Just me as a you know, casual fan, I wouldn't even say fan, but as a casual human being, I felt like the fans deserve more. I wish I deserve more, but I'm not even really a fan. So yeah, like I just hope Blumhouse and Jason Blum, you know, gets his shit together when it comes to making Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Yeah, sadly, this movie was made for 20 million. I'm sure they'll be like, here's 25 million, here's 30 million. But we're gonna get another good looking movie, but it's just gonna be a lot of stuff I don't understand, like judging from the movie. I don't know, that little doll, I guess, comes in the after credits. That's going to be a character. I assume maybe the daughter cop becomes the new villain or something. They were setting something up with that. I don't know the lore. This movie is made for you, the fans. You know, if you enjoyed it, awesome. But I'm just saying, you guys deserve a better movie, though. Like, I'm glad that you had fun with it. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. But like, that you can get a better movie. Don't like set your standards so low, guys, is all I'm saying here. You know, let us know what you thought about the movie. Defend it. Why do you like it so much? Let us know in the comments, telling us what you thought about the movie. It's out in theaters, it's a smash hit, or you can stream it on Peacock, and let us know what you thought about the movie.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, catch all our social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We also have our own personal letterbox accounts where we both gave 2 stars to Five Nights at Freddy's. Not too bad, I guess. But like I said, though, we didn't really care for this movie. It's just a movie we're going to forget about. But Blumhouse will keep reminding us a year from now, though. Anyways, guys, that'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.